Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video, uh, another video of this series of videos where I try to teach you Spanish, and we go through all the basics of the Spanish language. Today, we are going to see something very important. For the first time, so far, we've been seeing present, and we have been covering all the irregular verbs in present. Today, for the first time, we are going to see regular verbs in present. And they are a big step forward because they will allow you to speak a lot more and understand a lot more. So you'll see how interesting and how good fun this is. So let's go to it. I'm going to share my screen to show you how to do it. Okay, right now you are seeing my screen and now you are seeing my whiteboard. Okay, when we were conjugating irregular verbs, we had to memorize every irregular verb because they didn't follow a pattern. There was no way to guess how to do it. Regular verbs are good because of that, because there will be a pattern. There will be a way to guess how all of them are done, as long as they are regular. We have three types of verbs in Spanish. We have verbs that end with an AR. We have also verbs that end with an ER. And finally, we have verbs that end with an IR. Every one of them is going to be differently. So that's the first thing you have to bear in mind. The verb that you are about to conjugate, is it an AR verb, ER, or IR? Once you know which one you are going to be conjugating, you have to follow the following, you have to use the following endings. For AR verbs, we are going to use o, as, a, amos, ais, and. So let's try to conjugate a few verbs that are AR verbs. For example, the verb hablar. The verb hablar, it's the verb to speak, to talk, and it is definitely an AR verb. So it will follow this pattern. First of all, because that verb right now is in the original form, it's in infinitive, you no longer want the AR. So you get rid of the AR. And you keep the stem of the verb. You keep the core of the verb. And what you have to do now is add those endings. So if you want to say I speak, you say hablo. If you want to say you speak, hablas. If you want to say he or she or it speaks, habla. If you want to say we speak, hablamos. You all, you plural, speak, habláis. And finally, they speak, hablan. So basically what I've been doing is adding these endings to the stem of the verb. That is the only thing I have to do. And that will work with any verb as long as those verbs are regular. How do I know if a verb is regular or not? I have to get familiar with them. I have to discover them little by little, and I will simply know. There is not a rule that I can follow to guess if a verb is regular or not. You just need to become familiar with them. But there are many. That's why I gave you a list of verbs that are regular. And if you want, on this video, I will go over that list. Vale. Let me conjugate another verb, AR. For example, the verb limpiar. That's the verb to clean. I get rid of the AR and I keep the stem, and now I start adding the endings. I clean, limpio. You clean, limpias. He, she cleans, limpia. We clean, limpiamos. You clean, you plural, you several people, limpiáis. And finally, they clean, limpian. So easy peasy. Okay, what about IA verbs? They follow a different pattern. We have different endings for IA verbs. So if we want to say I, we use an O. So this one is the same, AR and ER. What about if it is you? S. He or she. It. We. Hemos. You all. Ace. And finally, end. So let's conjugate one verb, an easy one. For example, the verb comer. Comer, it's an IA verb and it's regular. How do I know it's regular? Because I'm telling you. There is no way you can guess. We get rid of the ER and now we start conjugating the verb. I eat. Como. You eat. Comes. He or she eats. Come. We eat. Comemos. You eat. Coméis. They eat. Comen. Vale. Vale. Sorry. Let's carry on. Vale. Any other verb that is, it's a ER verb. Beber, for example. To drink. Same thing. I get rid of the ER and I drink. Bebo. You drink. Bebes. He drinks. She drinks. Bebe. We drink. Bebemos. You drink. You all, you plural. Bebéis. They drink. Beben. Remember how to say no with any verb. Actually, it doesn't matter if the verb is irregular or regular. If you want to do the negative, if you want to say, I don't drink, I don't eat, it's just putting no before the verb. So, I don't drink, no bebo. You don't drink, no bebes. He, she doesn't drink, no bebe, and so on. It's always the same. Making the negative in Spanish is quite easy. Only one left. IA verbs. This is probably the smallest category. IA verbs. There are many IA verbs. There are quite a few IA verbs, and there are a few IA verbs, but this is the smallest category. But how do we do it? IA verbs are very similar to ER verbs. Only a couple of boxes are going to be different. So, I will be an O. You, S. He, she, it. E. So far, it's the same. ER and IR, they share those endings. Now it changes a little bit. We, nosotros. imos, you all, is, and they, en. So this, and this, it's the same for ER and IR. Only these two boxes are different. What verb can you conjugate that is an IR regular? For example, the verb vivir, to live, I live in Los Alcázares, I live. So I get rid of the IR. I no longer want the infinitive. I want to conjugate it. And I start adding the different endings. Vivo, I live. Vives, you live. Vive, he, she lives. Vivimos, we live. Vivís, you, plural, live. Viven, they live. And as long as the verb is regular, it will always be like this. It will always be, for example, another verb, escribir, to write. I get rid of the IR, and I add the endings. Escribo, I write. Escribes, you write. Escribe, he, she writes. Escribimos, we write. Escribís, you, plural, write. Escriben, they write. And this is it. This is how we do regular verbs in present. So after this video, you are supposed to be able to conjugate the 4 main irregular verbs in present, which are ser, estar, tener, and ir. And they are simply verbs that you have to memorize because they don't follow any rule, they don't follow any pattern. All the forms are random forms. You have to memorize them. And then using these endings and memorizing these endings, you will be able to do any regular verb. So now that we've seen the endings, probably it will be wise to have a look at some or a list of the most common regular verbs in the Spanish language. I have a list that is quite long, and I think I've given it to you. But I'm going to open the list here, and I'm going to go through all those verbs with you. Vale. Must be somewhere here. Where is it? Here. Here. Vale. Okay. This document has a long list of verbs. First, it gives you the 4 main irregular verbs, and we have already seen them. Ser, estar, tener, and ir. Let's focus on the regular verbs. Here we have a long list of 127 verbs, and all of them are regular verbs. So you can trust that all these verbs will follow those endings that I have just given you. Let's go through them. I will tell you what's the meaning of all of them. Okay, what's the meaning of the verb abrir? The verb abrir, it's the verb to open. Acabar or terminar, it's the verb to finish. Aceptar, it's the verb to accept. Adelantar, it's the verb to overtake. When you are driving, you overtake another car, or it has some other meanings. For example, it is also to bring forward an appointment. If you have an appointment on the 10th, February the 10th, and you want to see the doctor before, to bring forward the appointment. So overtake or bring forward. Adivinar, it's to guess. You don't know something, so you guess it. Ahorrar, to save money or to save time. Alquilar, to rent or to hire. Amar, to love, but love only in terms of people, to love people. Apagar, to turn off or to switch off. Turn off the TV, to switch off the aircon. Aparcar, to park your car. Aprender, to learn a language, to learn something. Ayudar, to help. Bailar, to dance. Bajar, to go down or to bring down prices, for example, to reduce the prices or to go down the stairs. Vale. 15. Beber, to drink. 16. Besar, to kiss. 17. Borrar, to delete, to erase, to rub out. Buscar, to search, to look for, to look up in the dictionary as well. Cambiar, to change. 20. Caminar, to walk. Celebrar, to celebrate. Cenar, to have dinner. Cobrar, to charge money, as in the bank charges you fees, or someone charges you so much for a job, for a work. Cocinar, to cook. Comer, 2 meanings. Generally speaking, it's the verb to eat, and it can also be the midday meal. So it can also be to have lunch. So it is either to eat or to have lunch. Compartir, to share. Comprar, to buy. Comprender, to understand. Confiar, to trust someone. Contestar or responder. They are synonyms and they mean to answer a question, to answer. Continuar, to continue. Copiar, to copy. Correr, to run. Cortar, to cut something with your knife, with your scissors. Coser, to sew. Creer, to believe. Cruzar, to cross the street, to cross the pedestrian crossing. Cubrir, to cover. Cuidar, to look after, to take care. Desayunar, to have breakfast. Destrozar, to destroy. Descansar, to rest. Dibujar, to draw a drawing. Dividir, to divide. Doblar, this one has several meanings. Doblar can be to fold clothes, fold something. Doblar is also to dub a film, when a film is an American film and they dub it into Spanish. And doblar is also to, you have 100,000 euros and you invest them and you get in return 200,000 to multiply times 2. Durar, that's the verb to last, as in the duration of something. Something lasts so much time. Enseñar, to teach or to show something. Enviar or mandar, to send. Escribir, to write. Escuchar, to listen to something. Firmar, to sign, it's your signature. Fumar, smoke. Funcionar, to work, but in terms of machinery. My washing machine doesn't work. My computer works very well. So it's to work, but in terms of a machine working or not working. Ganar, this is the verb to win or to earn. More. Gastar, to spend money. Grabar, to record a film, to record a video, or to engrave as well. Gritar, to shout, to scream. Hablar, to talk, to speak. Intentar, to try to do something, to attempt to do something. Invitar, to invite or to treat someone to something. Treat someone to a beer. Ladrar, to bark when the dogs bark. Lavar, to wash. Leer, to read. Levantar, to lift. Limpiar, to clean. Llamar, call. Llegar, to arrive, to get to a place. Llenar, to fill. When you fill the tank of your car, when you fill something that is empty, you fill it. Llorar, to cry. Luchar, to fight. Masticar, to chew gum or to chew your food. Mejorar, to improve, to get better. Meter, that is to insert, to introduce, to put in. Mezclar, to mix. Mirar, to look at something. Molestar, to bother, to disturb. Mover, to move. Nadar, to swim. Navegar, if you have a boat or a ship, is to sail. But if you are talking about the internet, navegar is to surf the net. Necesitar, to need. Odiar, to hate. Olvidar, to forget. Pagar, to pay, fork out. Parar, to stop. Pasear, to walk at a very gentle pace, to stroll. And it's also the verb that we use for dogs. When you walk your dog, that's the verb that we use. Pegar, that is either to hit someone or, as in punching someone, or it's also the verb to glue, to stick two things together. Where were we? Oh, here. Perdonar, to forgive. Pescar, to fish. Pintar, to paint. Planchar, to iron your clothes. Plantar, that's the verb to plant, like to plant tomatoes, to plant flowers in your garden. And it can also be when you have an appointment or you have a date and the other person doesn't come and they stand you up, I think you say, that is plantar as well. It's when someone who is supposed to come to a date or to an arranged appointment, they don't show up. Practicar, to practice. Preguntar, to ask questions. Presumir, it's to brag, to show off, to boast. Prometer, to promise. Quemar, to burn something. Quitar, to remove, to take off clothes as well, to remove something. Regalar, to give someone a gift, to buy someone a gift. Reparar, to repair, to fix. Reservar, to book, to reserve. Respirar, to breathe. Restar. Restar, it's when you, I always pronounce this badly, so forgive me. It's to subtract. It's like 3 minus 2 equal 1. So that, to subtract. Vale. Just a few more left. Robar, to steal, to rob, to burglar. Romper, to break. Sacar, to take out. Saltar, to jump. Saludar, to say hello, to greet. Soplar, to blow. Subir, to go up or to raise something, to increase something. Sumar, to add, but in terms of numbers. 2 plus 2 equal 4, to add, sumar. Tachar, to cross out. Tardar, that's the verb that we use to talk about how long something takes you. It takes me 5 minutes to do this, to do that. It takes me only 2 minutes to get to my job. Tardar. Tirar is to throw away or just to throw, also to pull, has several meanings. Tocar, it's either to touch something, to touch, or when talking about instruments, it's to play an instrument. Tomar, that's the verb that we use to talk about drinks and food. You know, in English you say, I'm having a beer. Well, we wouldn't say I'm having a beer. We'll say I'm taking a beer. Tomar is the verb that we use for food or drinks. Toser, to cough. To cough. Trabajar, to work. Tragar, to swallow. I think you say swallow. To swallow your food. Tropezar, to stumble, to trip over. Usar, to use. Vaciar, to empty. Vender, to sell. Viajar, to travel. Visitar, to visit. Vivir, to live. Vomitar, to throw up or to vomit. And finally, votar, to vote, like the elections, the voting. These are not all the regular verbs that we have in Spanish, obviously, but these are very frequent verbs that we use. And I think it's a good list, and you can use it from now on to practice and to memorize them, use them little by little, conjugate them using the endings that I've given you at the beginning of the video. So the endings plus a certain number of verbs, an acceptable certain number of verbs together will allow you to say many things in present. So that's our main goal, to memorize many verbs and know what they mean, and then using them and conjugating them correctly. Well, I hope this video is useful for you. Probably I will record a practice video where I will put into practice what we've seen in this video. And well, I'll see you in our next video, and bye-bye for now.